Good morning and welcome to episode number 74, because we've got the numbers back on the screen yet again. Good morning, Mr. Andrew Reid.
Good morning, Mr. Adam Walker. How was your week last week, my friend? You were sadly missed by myself and Donna.
As soon as I started talking, it broke apart. Do you know what? It was good. It was good. It was busy. I mean, it was work. I wasn't off all week. I was doing some work, shooting a campaign, which I'll share soon. You'll like. But it was a good week. Bit of family time in there as well. Went to Newcastle, the Hancock Museum. If you've never been, perfect for families. Fantastic museum.
I love Tony Hancock. It's really
not that different thing. It's actually it's called the Great North Museum.
Okay, fine. Was it school off last half term?
For our lot, it was.
Yeah, it was.
All Northeast schools are off this week.
How weird.
I know.
How weird. So you must have got the Hancock Museum to yourself.
Near enough, the school trips coming out as we were going in. So there we go.
How cool is that?
So yeah, how was your week?
It's been exceptionally busy. Very good though. It's been interesting in terms of sorting out I've just been speaking off air about our mutual friend and how the website was not broken at all. It was just down to Google Chrome being a bit silly.
I had that issue the other day. Someone sent me an image of a site that we've done going, why does this look like this? And I'm like, okay, no idea. Right, so I've used every browser we have available to us. I've asked them to then look at their browser, try a different browser, and then even trying to go back and recreate the screen grab he did, he went, can't do it now. So sometimes these things are sent to testers.
Well, once somebody asked me the other day and they said, why have I got 3 browsers on my desktop? Because we installed Edge by default, obviously, then Google Chrome and Firefox. And I'm like, it's always good to have an alternative.
Always good. So bear that in mind, people. If you've got an issue with a website or you're struggling to see something, just try another browser first.
Exactly.
And see what's going on. So sometimes it can be different. You've got someone over there. You've got someone over there. Just over there. Just. What's your name and where do you come from? I love that bit now.
I know it's really
embraced it. What's your name and where do you come from?
You're right. Mark. I'm Mark Stevens.
Just Mark, like Prince.
Yeah, exactly.
Just Mark Stevens. And what do you do? Where are you from?
Well, from around here, living in Darlow now, working at Emphasise Digital.
Yeah. He's got a very nice hoodie on.
It's a very nice hoodie.
I'm like,
top of the wash basket.
Yeah, you'll have to turn your chair slightly around because remember your camera focus.
There we go.
There we go.
Yeah. But you're fine. That angle's fine. But
exactly.
I'm looking at the hoodies going, maybe some Hubspoke hoodies are needed. Yeah. So there we go. What does Emphasise Digital do?
Yeah, we're design and development agency.
Right.
That's all we do. Stick to that. Nothing else, nothing more.
Oh, well, there we go. Anyway, there's the end of the podcast.
Yeah. Job done.
Quick job done. So can you, obviously for our listeners, what are your services? What can you do? I mean, obviously digital's a huge word, Mark. Yeah. But, what's your perfect customer?
So if it's web related on your website or creating a website, we can probably do it from designing a site, making it look great to making it perform well through function or development, and then obviously getting it found thereafter, because it's all good having a nice looking website, but if nobody can find it.
By the way, we had a little chat off air, Adam. SEO, huge topic for Mark, and you're already finding it, aren't we?
Yep. Yeah. I mean, I'm finding a lot of people go, I want a very pretty looking website with no text. Quite often.
Yeah.
I'm like,
I thought we'd moved past the white text on white backgrounds, that kind of hidden, just pictures everywhere. But, Google's clever, but it can't read images yet.
Yeah. Yet, it's
for SEO, you still have to tag it up. So
but if you haven't put the information in somewhere, including all the descriptions and everything else, we're doing it. Yeah, we did a good chat, didn't we? On that
we did a good chat, and so from our point of view, Mark, obviously when we had that chat about SEO, it's not what I'd like to get across or what I'd like you to get across. It's not just me and Adam having a rant about, well, I just want it to look pretty and I can't be bothered with alternative text. It really does matter, doesn't it?
Oh, absolutely, yeah. And I've got sites which look out for clients that they won't put any extra. They're quite happy with 50 words on the homepage. It's going to be pretty hard to get that ranked or found. So you do have to get quite creative. And the way SEO is shifting now, it's not changing. Everyone say there's a lot of people or experts on TikTok saying SEO is dead. It absolutely isn't. It's just evolving.
If anything, I'm seeing more people coming back to SEO at the moment. I know that TikTok's been saying that because I've seen those videos. Yeah. But I'm seeing a movement, especially locally, where people are going, all right, we've done the socials, we've done TikTok, we've done this, we've done that. They're starting to realise that it's a bit of a joined-up approach. And you need a bit of everything.
That's it. And with additional technology being put in the hands of the public, AI, voice search, and Gemini and so on, you do have to get very creative. Well, it's not really, there's no secret sauce. It's like, I learned the hard way. You know, I know you mentioned Edge. Everyone abandoned Edge.
Yeah.
Actually, a lot of AI models are based on Edge.
Yep.
So don't abandon them, because
exactly.
a lot of people are now searching for things through AI.
Yeah.
So you need to make sure you're doing your webmaster tools for that as well.
See, it's crazy, isn't it? As I say, bless me and Mark had a good half-hour chat off air last night when Mark and I were saying, look, what topics? And SEO to me, and you've said this before, Adam, it's not a minefield, it's a chasm. You just go in there and like, I am lost. I have no idea.
It can be, but also on the flip side, it can be simple. With just writing
I get
meaningful
that.
content. Instead, people sometimes goes keywords.
Yeah.
And start
I know.
throwing
What I'm
words.
getting at, though, is from our point of view, we're all businesses here.
Yeah.
Customers come to us and they go, SEO. And to them, it is that chasm. And obviously your job, Mark, and obviously all of our job, but your job is to step that customer through it and explain to them.
Yeah, and I think that's why, so to backtrack a little bit, I know we spoke about
No,
this,
it's
the
fine.
way we excel with our clients is we spend the time to develop relationships. We're not just another website you could find like Wix, GoDaddy, Ionos, whatever, where you're getting a off-the-shelf product from a meaningless computer system which doesn't have the invested or the relationship with you.
Yep.
We actually spend the time to understand what the customer actually wants, and we could do that through SEO. So an accountant, for example, would simply want accountants near me, accountants Newcastle. Well, that's all well and good, but so does every other accountant in the area. So what are people actually searching for? So this is what we spend the time to understand them and their target market or their customers. How did you find them? What did you search? Was it, I hate the expression, but was it cheap accountants, for example? Are you targeting that? Is the content reflecting that? So there's loads of different things going forwards that I think people need to consider, and it's not just, you can't just Google how to rank high on Google, because where you typically get a HubSpot article, well, they're seeing a downtrend in traffic as well through the new searches, but they'd always say keywords, and then key phrasing came along, key phrase.
Yeah.
So you can't just spam that. You can't just white text it or put all your H1, H2s as the same thing. You need to do it in a very natural way, because that's one thing, as Google has scaled, they've got very clever. And they don't just want you doing this. And it's coming back to that white text thing where people put white text on white backgrounds to hide things. When you try and pull the wool over Google's eyes, they're going to pull the wool over your eyes and probably
they can look to see what colour the text is in the background is.
Yeah.
It's like I was saying about AI the other week. My question, because we don't know with the algorithms, right? We don't see under the hood. My question is, will Google be penalising people for putting AI-generated content out there? So look at it this way. You can all find an AI detector.
Yeah.
Quite often we've seen it, rocket emojis and elevate.
Absolutely.
Oh, yeah.
The two key things with
Delve,
marketing.
transform.
Hang on a minute.
I hate it.
It's AI, Mark.
I can't. I go on my Facebook now. I spend too much time on Facebook. You scroll and you think, wow, everything's just AI.
Yes.
Everyone's just gone to GPT, make me a post for this, make me a post for that. And it's all the same. Same page structure, same emojis, same words. And they're not natural, and they're filled with a lot of transitioning words. However, moreover, these kind of words.
Furthermore.
Yeah, furthermore, yeah.
I do use furthermore, by the way, but not every sentence.
No, but I get what Mark's saying, because scrolling through the Facebook, you now get those people, those reels, to saying, use ChatGPT to generate your LinkedIn protocol. And they're selling their time and saying, sign up to me. But all they're doing is being creative with the ChatGPT wording, I am a. So obviously, most people look in ChatGPT, using your example, I will create me a story based on a space frog eating pizza.
Yeah.
Now that's clever, but if you went in to ChatGPT and said, I'm writing a children's story. The children's story is based upon a frog who lives in space and his favourite food is pizza, and then give him a background, the two ChatGPT generative stories will be massively different. And I get frustrated because I'm like, well, all you're doing is expanding on what ChatGPT already does, but then you're offering me a service. I don't need you.
Yeah.
But how difficult is it? And the bit that I'm getting up to, Mark, is customer had a couple of weeks ago who was basically saying, look, Andy, I've gone onto Wix. I've designed it with a themed template. They've promoted AI. They've promoted it. It looks really good. And I have to admit, Mark, it did look good. Yep. But he was going, but it's getting nowhere in Google. And I'm like, yeah, I know, because everybody else is just using Google AI and this and this and this. And isn't this where we are fighting against?
Yeah. So I have a very big personal vendetta with Wix. I used to be a supplier of theirs. I used to be a developer on behalf of Wix. However,
hang on a minute, that was AI generated, wasn't it? Furthermore, I demand.
Yeah, I've got it scripted. But there we are. That's the more usual word. Wix absolutely has a place in the market.
It does.
And for the client that may not necessarily have the budget for a professional developer to come in and create something quite special for their business, if they've got the time but not the budget, use Wix. Use a site builder, something.
Yeah, absolutely.
Get your business out there. At the end of the day, it's better to have. People say it's better to have nothing than something bad. It's better to have something.
Yes.
And show the effort. But when Wix came along with this amazing new tool, which nobody had, there wasn't Elementor and Divi or all these
anything
WordPress
like that at all.
builders. Wix came along, it was great. Now everybody can have a website. And then they started having to really scale up what they're offering, and AI came into it. And for what it's worth, I don't know this for fact, it's rumoured that for every, say, £100 you spend on SEO on Wix, only a fraction of that's going to make it through to your site, because some of it's going to make it onto promoting Wix because of the architecture it's built on. I don't know that for fact. However, I'm noticing all these transition words now.
Exactly.
I know.
Okay, so I do think there's something to that. It's very rare you see a Wix site rank higher than a self-build, a custom code, or a WordPress site. It's extremely rare. And if you take into the account the man hours put into it, you will have to put in double, if not triple, the amount of man hours to get a Wix website ranking anywhere near a basic WordPress site.
Now,
that's just from what I found, though.
But we equally don't know whether they're being penalised by the search.
Exactly.
But I want to pick up on a point that you made a few episodes back, Adam. It's not wrong what I'm about to say, and Mark, I'm echoing what you're saying. If a customer wants to get a quick, cheap website, absolutely, Wix, just bang, go for it like that there. Where I think I've heard you say before, Adam, is absolutely for the customer, get a website and it's up, but then you need to understand the customer and you need to transition them from where they think they are on the Wix platform to, say, a hosted site with you, Mark, and then you develop the site and learn the customer and you pour your heart and soul into the company to learn how to expand it. You've got the customer on the other end going, Wix tells me I need to do this and this. It's fine, but I always see those particular types of those websites, and this is my own personal opinion, as very faceless, as very like, it's just a website.
I think I was talking to someone the other day. He's looking to set up a business. And he said, can I meet you for a coffee and pick your brains? And I said, yep, buy me a coffee.
Won't take long.
Don't bother. No, I then said, here's the the things that you should be considering, the options. I was happy to do that. And he said about websites. And I said, GoDaddy, Wix, Squarespace, there's loads of options out there that you can use. You're going to have to put the time and effort into developing it. And I did say to him, the trade-off is I'm still yet to see a site that the front page may look good, but then the back, the deeper you go, the more it kind of, and it's not because of the platforms, it's because it does take a lot of your time to develop it still. Sometimes people think that it's a thing. I mean, GoDaddy have just launched GoDaddy Aero. Mm-hmm. I don't know much about that at the moment, but I'm interested to see what that does. That's using AI to build a site out and things like this, but it's quite interesting. While we're on Space Frog Eating Pizza, I generated that in Canva. Canva's now got an AI generation tool.
Oh, I've seen this.
Yeah. How good is that?
How's it breathing? Where's its face coming out the helmet?
So that is, Alina, that is the digital Space Frog Eating Pizza, if you put that on the screen, please. But yeah, and then there's also you can then change it to cartoons. So, I mean, in terms of AI, there's our fictional pirate
Pixels of 8.
PC shop, PCs of 8.
Absolutely. This is where I think AI gives you that step up to try and give you that feeling. We've always said, Adam, start it for 10. Where I think you're coming back, bringing it back to what you were saying, Mark, about the way that AI allows you to very quickly develop a site. But again, using my words, I find those particular sites very shallow.
Yeah.
It's got a nice front page, clicky, and I'm like, yeah, but if I looked at your website, which I did do this morning, there's there's lots of depth, there's lots of free articles, there's lots of, and the word is lots of. Where I look at what I know is a Wix generated, I go, oh, snazzy front page that they do something, and there's a contact page.
Yeah. So there's no emotion.
No, correct. There's a good word.
You need to captivate your audience on every single page, not just your homepage is a funnel.
I love this.
That drives people to your services page, your booking page, your contact page. It should funnel. You should land on the homepage and know within 7 seconds what you're going to be doing next, where you go. Are you going to browse the store? And it should be very clear. Your call to action should be very clear and very high up. Everyone puts them at the end. Nobody's reading all that fluff.
No.
Nobody does. But if you then have this amazing looking front page and then, well, a lackluster or a very depressing looking page where someone is going to make a buy-in decision, you've lost them.
Buy teams.
No, Andy.
Let's have a button on our website.
No, that's our reference to sort of marketing. When people go, right, I'm going to do marketing, and websites can be guilty of this. They go, hello, welcome to our company, buy our service.
Yes,
like,
and that's what I keep saying. It's just like,
Why are you welcoming people to your website? They're already there.
Yeah, absolutely.
It should
like,
be.
I'm a big believer in being able to underpin, and this is why I like your business, because you already had it. You run your business, we look after IT.
Yeah.
And I love that because you've summarised what the business is all about in a sentence. So for me, it's always about, even if it's just going, like ours, your trusted partner for marketing media services. Like,
That's it. It explains it.
Because part of the problem you have, especially with digital, is are you doing SEO? Are you doing web? Are you doing socials? Are you doing like photography? I put a post out on Hubspoke this morning about we've just printed some prospectuses, and I've written it. It's not all digital.
Yeah,
it kind of is because we designed it digitally. And then print. But it's like in terms of marketing world, it's like traditional in air quotes. I don't know when we're going to stop calling all the other stuff traditional. Then.
Yeah, but I know what
it's
you're
all
saying.
Marketing. But it, it's hard for people sometimes to understand what it is they do, unless it is just we do this specific task. But I find that very. How many jobs do you do, Andy?
Yeah, there's a myriad.
How many jobs do you? I mean, I
Yeah.
quite liked yours because you were like, "That's what we do."
Well, I've learned the hard way. I had a much larger digital agency 2 years back where we'd done IT, web, and marketing, and all the services under that because I wanted it to be everything for everyone.
Yeah.
And like I said, the reason I learned the hard way is you can't. I can't specialise in all of those fields, but I was overseeing 3 main departments, and the staff would try their best to not involve me, but if something quite technical came in on the IT front, I was the only technical IT person there. So, I can't do that whilst I'm working on the website, whilst I'm doing marketing. So when I stepped away from there and set up Emphasise, I made it very clear I will never do IT. I've tried passing bits on to you. For instance, people followed me around who had my mobile number. Anyway, that probably sounds worse than it is.
No, it's not. It's not that bad.
IT. But we made it very clear we'll only ever do web. Now, people do ask us, do you do social media, do you do copywriting, do you do graphics? No, because I can't be an expert in everything.
Yeah.
And I don't want to give people a inferior product when there's better people out there to do that. So we partner with copywriters, we partner with graphic designers, agencies, marketing companies, IT. We'll much rather build a relationship with those kind of companies. I mean, we have a number of web designers who white label to us because they can't code. So we try to build that relationship, and it's far easier for me as a business to service one agency than it is 10 clients. So I'd much rather the agency because I can talk the tech with them and they can service their customers. However, we do still service our customers anyway. So
I find this probably, you will hopefully both of you agree, I think every single business when they first launch, they go, I will do anything for anybody. I will bend over backwards and I will be absolutely, ask me what to do and I'll do it. And then as they get established, as they get experienced, and if I take my classic example, I did websites. I suddenly found that I was, my IT was my focus point. Websites was a sideline, a foot in the door, but it was distracting me. And I went, do you know what? Can I offload this to a trusted partner? What you were saying, I offloaded it to Adam. If I reverse that, Adam, you were doing exactly the same. You were getting dragged into IT and going, I do not want to do this.
So many IT, like a lot of people, IT is a tricky thing to get into, and they're going this, that, and the other. There's a project I'm working on at the moment, and I said, here's how I anticipate it going. If this works, then this works. If this doesn't, it doesn't. If I need to be trolling through a database, that's when I'm picking up the phone to you.
Yeah.
Because it's like, from any IT, I'd have people struggling to connect, like Outlook, or they wanted, Office 365 or set up Teams or whatever they wanted to do. Or which device should they buy? And it's like, Andy.
Yeah, and you're saying the same thing, Mark. You obviously started off doing that, but now you've gone, no, I need to focus on what I'm good at.
Yeah. And in the 3-4 years since that, like, people ask me, someone called me the other night, what laptop's I don't even know. What series graphics card are we on now? I couldn't tell you. No idea. NVIDIA. And that's how quick. I'm NVIDIA fanboy here, yeah. Well, except CPU, AMD. Anyway, gamer. So
I'm AMD.
Ooh.
Carry on.
We'll come back to that.
Yeah, exactly.
So it's evolved far quicker than the web space has, to me.
Definitely.
Because I haven't kept up with it.
Yeah.
So I wouldn't have an idea. And people ask me on Apple products, I've never had an idea. I don't know.
No.
So I'd rather not try and
but don't
for
you think, though, Mark, in terms of, instead of going, oh, right, let me find out for you, if you do have that trusted IT partner, and this is my case because I'm looking at both of you, you would go, honestly, I don't know, my friend. Tell you what, though, speak to Andy.
Yeah.
And that's where I would go, absolutely, what do you want to do? Whereas the alternative is that someone goes, website? No idea, speak to Adam or Mark. Because I can't keep up with it nowadays. SEO, I thought I knew about it, and then obviously we had that whole podcast discussion. I did go away at the weekend and sort of like start reading up, and I'm like, oh my God, this is incredible what you have to do to keep on top of this. And I'm just like, I can't do it anymore.
Yeah.
No, so interesting. You said that you obviously started off with a large agency. You've obviously, you've downsized now to come onto that. I think I said it at the start. You obviously, like myself at Adam, you're obviously an arm to a customer where it's trusted. They just go, Mark, what do I need to do in order to grow my business? And you, I assume, would go, right, you need this website, you need it to be mobile responsive, you need this, you need that. And obviously looking at your website, you do offer that wide range of services. Are you like their trusted digital partner? Is that a good phrase to use?
Yeah. So speaking, when they've got the site, that's great. It's then what else? What's next? And that's where the partnership comes into play. So obviously if the website views aren't increasing, or if the click-through isn't increasing or whatever, we're not doing our job well enough.
Correct.
So they can see that. They just log into the analytics platform dashboard. So all of our work, I'd say about 80% of our work comes from word of mouth.
Yes.
Or the networking I've done. It's very rare, although we do get a couple a week, we get inquiries through our own website, which sounds hypocritical because we do SEO. I appreciate that. But
only a few.
In this building alone, there's 4
Yeah,
agencies?
absolutely.
And the customers they'll go with whoever they want at the end of the day. But the way we convert an inquiry through to paying or paid customer is through that partnership. We have the hand-holding approach. We have the capabilities within the team to cater for the different kinds of customer. You want the ones that just want the direct, honest answer. You want the ones that need hand-holding through start to finish. We can do that.
Yeah.
Does come at a price.
No, absolutely.
Meaning, maybe if your budget's £300, we're not the right fit for you. There'll be a better fit for someone who can do that. And it's not how we add value. We don't add value by being the cheapest. We add value by being there for you. It sounds so
honestly,
cliche. I appreciate that. But
it isn't. And you were saying the other week in terms of how you've got a customer and they're looking at the cost or the budget and they're just going.
Yeah,
it's the same.
It's that noise.
It is. It's like the problem is, and again, unless you are an experienced company, an experienced in terms of age, if somebody had said to you and gone 2 or 3 years into your business, you'd have probably gone, okay, look. And you would have sort of like bent over backwards, reduced the cost. Nowadays, I think there's a strength in going, I'm not the right business for you.
Yeah.
And you said that the other week.
Yeah, well, I had to because it's like people will come to us and go, can you do marketing for us? And I go, yes, we can. Here's what we do and how we do it. And is that relevant? If they're like, we want to do something very specific, I'm like, well, maybe not us that you want to work with.
Yeah.
You know, if they go, are you the expert in outdoor? Well, we've done outdoor. I wouldn't say we're the expert in outdoor. You know, I'd probably point you in the direction of someone. If you just wanted some local advertising outdoor, I can absolutely pull campaigns together, and I have. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But all of it is grounded in the digital media element. Part of the problem we face and challenge that we sometimes come across is qualifying your clients in that sense. You have to,
Absolutely.
because it ends up reflecting badly on yourself. So if you do it for the low price and you do the lower price worth of work, you will give lower price results.
Yes.
Which is not a true reflection on your capability. So, and people could just go, well, you do the higher price work for the lower price. I'm like, that's all well and good, and then you know, when you're growing your business and this, that, and the other, yeah, but it's not a game. Like, people think it's a game, and I think especially early on, I had a lot of people haggling
Yes.
prices, and sometimes people still now go, can we have a deal if we do this and this?
Oh, that's
and,
fine.
And
that's
that's
business.
fine, and we'll look at that.
Yeah.
But what it'd be is like, how can I get, you know, I'm going to invest in my business with you, insert organisation. How little can I pay you?
Yes.
Yeah. So and it's like, it's not in their interest to necessarily do that. They need to invest it. But that when it becomes a game of, you know, if I give Andy money to do an IT service, I just know it's going to be done well. I'm not trying to go, Andy, what is the lowest thing? Because I want it to work out, and I want it to work. And it's the same with web, like what you're talking there. If you know, if it's 300 quid's worth of work, yeah, someone could make a reasonable site, but you wouldn't be able to deliver the outputs that you would do. So then people would be like, well, I've had a website and it's not doing anything for me. That's problem one.
Yeah.
It's the same in marketing. So, you know, people are going, social media's delivered this much, but why isn't it delivering more? And I'm going, well, do you remember that discussion we had about doing more services, which does cost more money? There's your, you know, because when you hire like a marketing member of staff, you've got them potentially full-time. They're doing a full-time job. Sometimes people don't want a full-time person, so they'll outsource it, and that's where we come in, and they'll be paying less than a full-time person, and obviously getting less than full-time service, but we're covering the services that we need to do and deliver. The problem you have is when you start looking at price in terms of investing in your marketing and reducing it down, you're actually selling yourself short, and you're diluting the effectiveness of the activities that it can have.
100%.
You know, the other thing I see is people are very quick to throw money into Google ads at the moment themselves, and then go, I'm not getting the results, and then come to us to go, could you sort that out for us? And I'm like, well, I can run Google ads campaigns, but my first question is always, where are you sending the people from the advert?
Yes.
What are they landing on? Have you done a landing
Well, it's
page?
just a homepage. No.
Right? And then I'm like, right, so you need a landing page.
What's a landing page?
It's a special page that's just designed just for one job, that thing, land from the campaign. You know, but
it's perfect.
Yeah, so I'm like, so before we even do the paid ads, I'm like, we should be building a landing page. Oh, but that's more money. And I'm like, well, yeah, it is, because you want me to do something, right?
Yeah.
It's because I'm trying to help you succeed so that when you do invest in your ad spend, you've got more chance of getting that return on the investment.
Yeah.
And it's a constant battle I see in the space that all probably digital services, marketing services are in. People are trying to throttle down their budgets onto their suppliers, but actually it makes it harder for you to then deliver against the brief of what they want. Or it could take, you know, if you're doing 10% of the budget, it'll take you 10 times long to get the results that you'd maybe had if you had 100% of the budget.
Yeah.
You know, sorry, I ran to
No. I think it's interesting.
True. I'm just finding it all the time at the moment.
But the other thing that I'd like to add, and again, a question for you, Mark, if you've got that trusted relationship with a customer, and I'll make it very easy because they're paying you £10 a month, you know, but obviously, yeah, you wouldn't have that much.
Oh, we do.
The question that the bit that I'm trying to get across, they pay you £10 a month, but they're a trusted partner, they're a trusted relationship, they love you, you love them. Excuse me. I guarantee you're giving them £20 worth of work a month because you're investing in them, because you know they'll invest back in you. Yeah. And I think every customer does that. Yeah. Every business, sorry.
Yeah. No, you're exactly right. And whilst we won't offer that kind of thing for just anybody, it needs to be the right kind of business, like I was saying before. I can absolutely prove I have a paper trail of, I can't remember what it's called, it's like a repository thing where one referral came in, let's say, someone who referred somebody on to us, that's one tier. This lady has passed us on that many times, and so has that person. We're now on a 7th generation referral.
Wow.
It's what started off with a very simple site, taking it from a competitor. Anyway. Moved on to them referring us on, and then that person referring us on. And like I said, it's at 7th tier, and it's absolutely fantastic. My office is littered with beer bottles, wine bottles. Not from me drinking the full, but
it's party at his place tonight.
I mean, you've seen there's ale and everything, and it's these clients that really appreciate what you've done. And like you said, this is all from one word of mouth referral, which was a £10 a month job.
Wow.
So it was worth the investment for me, because now obviously that's turned into, over the years, thousands. And that's
absolutely
for exactly what we want to hear. So I know you probably won't want to hear this. We don't actually need to, as a business, market too much. However,
it's something I hear all the time.
I know, but now we're looking to really scale and get our name out there. We need to do it, because word of mouth is only going to take us so far.
No, I get that though, Mark. But what you've hit on that point, what I'd like to hit on that point, is absolutely perfect. And we've said it before, and you've just said it about 10 minutes ago. There are lots of web design agencies around the area. Yeah. However, I think we all have a grounding, and I think we'd all, hopefully, Adam, you'd say the same thing. If, let's say, somebody wanted a cheap and cheerful, I know exactly who I'd push them to. If they wanted a next level, let me just, for the example, I'd go, there you go, Adam, please do this website for me if I had a particular customer. If they then wanted to go to the next level, I'd probably go, Mark. Yeah, and obviously we've had Simon from Edward Robertson. If they wanted a fully integrated, blah, 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 back end that's super huge, I'd go, Simon.
You know, Simon taught me a very harsh lesson
Did
in
he
September. And so I have an enormous amount of respect for him. He's helped me massively and wanted nothing in return.
Yeah.
I do send him, I'm trying to send him some very good work though. He said to me, what's your conversion rate? I said, 100%. I said that extremely cockily.
Yes.
I said, well, you're too cheap. That was so humbling.
Hearing I like
somebody
that.
who I admire in business, and it's very impressive business. I was like,
It
that's
is.
what I want to be.
Huge,
That's what I want.
beautiful
And he
company.
said that, and he went through the figures with me. He says, Matt, you're too cheap. You're too cheap, mate. And we went back and readdressed everything. And yes, there was big price increases coming our way. Pressure's off now.
Yeah.
It's great. And it's like, that one sentence, which made me extremely red face, probably stopped me making the same mistake again and saying yes to everyone. Because you guys will probably appreciate this. Being in business, or being at the top of the business, the owner, is extremely lonely. Your staff don't understand the pressures you do. Your family and friends don't understand the pressures you do.
It's okay, Andy. Hold it together.
Sorry.
We're here for you, man.
Thanks. I'll use Donna's thing when I pinch myself.
But it is. It's so
my-
lonely.
it is,
Nobody
my
gets
friend.
that. You know, I can't air the same concerns I can with you as I can with my mum.
Yeah.
My mum's going to say, you're doing great, Mark. Keep it up. Well, actually, the business might be failing, mother. But it's not.
You've done a good job, though.
Yeah, you did a good job anyway.
It doesn't feel like it's succeeding. It's just hard work.
Yeah. And being able to get that kind of advice was invaluable. You know, and
That's
I took it
really nice.
Yeah.
Really nice.
It's
it also emphasises.
Way.
Very good.
It also.
I was wondering when he was going to say that.
You've already
that's
that's
Andy.
Andy that.
Andy.
No, but doesn't it also emphasise the great teamwork we have in this building?
Yeah.
Because we are, in effect, all of us around this table are slightly competitive in some way or another, but we've invited you on this podcast. There's absolutely nothing. And there's Simon, who we all aspire to look like, because his company's wonderful.
Yeah.
And there's him going, you're too cheap, man. What a humbling thing for you to say, to go, thanks for that, mate.
There's room for everybody, though.
There
isn't
is.
Oh, of course, yeah.
There's absolutely room for everybody. There
There's
is
room
no
for everybody,
doubt.
And what I've learned in this game, I was literally thinking about this morning as I was getting out of the van. I was thinking about the different companies that I've seen in the building over the years.
Yeah.
Some are still here, some aren't.
Correct.
Some don't exist anymore.
Yeah.
And who was it? Simon Squibb was on a podcast the other day that I listened to. It was brilliant. And people keep saying 90% of businesses fail in the first year. He's called everyone out to say, stop saying that, because they don't actually.
No.
Which I thought was brilliant.
Yeah,
'Cause,
yeah.
I don't know. Maybe having a culture, we need to shift the culture on business in terms of everyone thinks it's cutthroat and everyone thinks it's out to get each other and this, that and the other. And it isn't.
No.
Like, everyone's working together in different ways. Our strengths, we lead by the media, for example, the photography, videography, the podcasting, all of that. And then we take that work into, right, we've got these great visuals. Where do we take them? And that could be web, that could be socials, that could be TV. You know, we've done TV. So, but there's space for everybody in business. And
God, yes.
I think it's getting away from that old adage of it's competition, it's cutthroat, it's, you know, like Dragon's Den.
Yeah.
Just by the title Dragon,
gives it away.
It gives it a bit of
An edge.
It gives it an edge. It gives it this cutthroat mentality, and it isn't really in business.
No,
in terms
and I think
of the ones that I see sticking around.
Absolutely.
Anyway.
No, absolutely.
Yeah.
And I think you've said this before at the beginnings, Mark. The fact that you've started off with that £10 a month contract, you probably gave it 20, 30, 40, 50 pounds worth of work every month, but hasn't that now paid it back tenfold?
Yes.
Seventh generation of pass on, word of mouth. That's just great.
Yeah. It's obviously I'm still quite young and quite, well, I don't feel it, but my body doesn't anyway. Quite young and certainly very young in business. I've done what I do since I was 11 because I was a bit of a nerd, but I was actually really cool. But it's being this young in business, you do end up looking at how you get in business, and unfortunately, and a lot of people do fall for this, you're quite aggressive. And competitive, and when that mindset kicks in, you don't care who's in front of you. You're going to plough straight through them. I'm getting that business. I want that £10 a month. But maybe about 5 years ago, networking. It was a web developer who came over to me. So talking code and talking in like foreign language to people around us, it was great. But the similarity we had was great on a personal level. In business, I thought, you're a competitor of mine, why am I talking to you?
Yeah.
And actually he started passing work on to me. You're too busy. And that's when I learned collaboration is far better than, was it obliteration or whatever it's. Because he could have probably just took me out there and then.
Absolutely.
The scale of business he was. But actually he starts passing stuff on. And that's when I realised this white label thing's pretty good. Yeah. People start feeding your work and you don't even have to find it.
We work white label.
Yeah.
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 Like we've done all sorts of white label. There's not, you help in the way I see it is, it's not, I've won some work white labeling. It's, I've actually helped the person out that I'm working with.
Exactly.
But I think if you look at it from your client, I think the other thing is, like you're saying there, if that guy was focusing on his energies to obliterate you, he's focusing on the wrong part of his business. Like 100%. maybe the big business people up top would be going, no, obliterate. I doubt it. I very much doubt it. It's about being useful.
Story that I've got is that I met with a guy who runs an IT company about 4 or 5 years ago, and his goal was to take over as many small IT companies as he possibly could. And it was very apparent to me within about 30 minutes of the chat with him, he didn't like his job, because he went, the more companies I take on board, the more money I've got to feed in. And he kept referring to his business as a money-eating monster. And I'm going, you don't enjoy your job. And he went, I don't. But I need to be as big as I want, big as I can. And I'm like, that's
it's
wrong.
churn, isn't it? And,
it is.
I think that's what you're saying. You're looking to scale. Yeah. So you've got a pathway that you're looking at and how you do it, and you know that if you need to take, I imagine people is where it's not product necessarily. You're not buying in.
Yeah.
You're gonna have to buy in a person. You're gonna have to buy in a machine. You're gonna have to buy in the screens and the phones and everything that goes around it. You're going to have to, and that when you start looking at that and then you do start scaling, that's where you're going, right, how are we servicing that member of staff? How are we, what are our service rates? Also, how do we win the work in order to secure the wage to pay the person and get it delivered on time? Scaling is hard.
Oh God,
scaling
100%.
is really hard.
Yeah, and based upon...
I mean, other people might say it's easy, but...
It's not. It's 100%. And based upon what you both told me in terms of competitive from what everybody says, well, I can just use AI and it will do the job for me. It's not that at all. It really isn't.
The other one I get is, do you use AI? No. Well, I might use AI for idea generation and Space Frog eating pizza, and I'm testing the thing, and we've done, been messing around with AI chatbots and stuff like that to offer a good customer experience. But I'm not going, hey AI, do all my work, and I sit on this sofa of money that I'm billing my clients for.
I had a client recently in the estate agents thing, and I don't know if you've ever worked on a estate agent site. You'll normally get a database you can pull data from, but you need to style it, CSS. Now, the client was very specific. He wants to be able to edit things. He said, well, I'm not about to teach you how to code. It's took me too long, and I'm still nowhere near an expert.
Yeah.
However, I can label areas. So this function does that. He understands hex codes, for example, so that's fine. So if he ever wants to change the colours. And it wasn't until a few days into the project that, actually, on this page I forgot to label my code. I know what I'll do. ChatGPT, label this for me, and all was working fine. It's like, great. So I carried on working as normal. And then it wasn't until I was showing him the site, well, that doesn't work. Why not? I started adding emojis into the code, and I'd never even realised.
A rocket emoji.
Yeah, it's a rocket emoji. It's the spotlight one or the sun. You know, it's that it keeps throwing that everywhere. It's like, why have you done this? It made no sense. Me being me didn't check, so I will never do that again. But I thought, I'll try and speed up my workflow. So I think it'll come. It will come when there's a time where it does optimize very well.
Yeah, and you can use it, but it's not the. You're not going, there's my work client, and it's being generated by you.
If you remember what I was saying the other week, if you look at IT coding, AI is 100% for me, because it's black and white.
Yeah.
You know, it's not a marketing, it's not I will say, please write me a script that does the following, and as long as I detail it, it 100% works.
That's what was surprising, because I have seen ChatGPT code, and I've seen it code Pong, for example, and it's very basic code. I've seen it do amazing things.
Exactly.
Run Doom on it.
Yeah.
But I don't understand why it done that. All he asked it to do was label it.
Yes.
Which, obviously, you can label things without it actually being read with the /star. But I just thought, why? Yeah. There was no sense.
It saw the word south-facing garden. It was like, we need some sunshine.
We need some sunshine.
Yeah.
That's what it does a little bit. The example I've shared on here, I'm involved with Dalton Rugby Club.
Yeah.
Pleasure to support. I was doing stuff last night, in fact.
Were you really good?
For that, as you know, I emailed you about something.
Yeah.
So I used it to go, right, wedding, because we do wedding packages. I was like, I just need some text, and I'm doing this as a volunteer, so I thought I'll try ChatGPT to get me 90% of the way there. And it came out with, while you're getting your photos taken, the guests could go and have a quick game while they're waiting for you. Yeah, game of rugby at a wedding, good idea. It's like, obviously I removed that bit.
Exactly.
But that was like when it first came out.
Yeah.
On the first version.
Yeah.
But it's interesting how we can do it. But I said the chat we've had on this is it's good for consolidating information, providing summaries.
Yeah. Oh, God, yeah.
Cleaning up data potentially as well.
Yeah.
Maybe with the sunshine emoji in there, but
So
no, you need more.
There's not enough.
Obviously, bless you, you are still, as you quite rightly said, young in terms of the company and stuff.
Yeah.
How have you seen, not just AI, but how have you seen software develop? Your programming code you were saying last week about, you just said Canva. It's now giving you the AI function. How have you seen and where have you seen the diversity of tech affect your job?
Well, first, the AI's in everything. Every CRM software, whatever, everything we use, there's always those 3 little stars in the corner. And every agency or big tech company is trying to implement it in some way, shape, or form. People do say to me quite often, well, AI is going to take your job. And I don't know who said it. There's a saying that which AI will not take my job, but those who use it will. That's probably an AI quote, actually. I have no idea where that's came from, but I've heard it. And I thought,
that makes sense in so many ways.
You can get more out of your staff, and it's like that. It's not a proverb that Bill Gates would typically hire a lazy member of staff because they've found a way to what that's saying. It's probably a similar thing in tech. Use it as a tool to speed up or become more efficient. You're going to get a lot more done, and I think that's the way it seems to be going. We were talking about Copilot. Personally, I haven't used it, but I've heard amazing things about it, about how you can optimize your workload. I think that's clever. That's how it should be used. And it is changing. It's like you said, it's everywhere. When the missus is away, I go to sleep watching videos on YouTube, and just to clear that one up. And last night it was on AI in the gaming industry. So alluded to before. Yes, I love gaming. I've done YouTube in the past. Anything gaming, I love it. But Treyarch or Activision or whatever, I can't remember the company name, allegedly got rid of a load of staff and started voice actors and replaced it with AI-generated content. Or the art you can now buy as part of bundles for loading screens, AI-generated content. They've got 6 fingers.
Yeah.
So it's little things like that.
Your rugby players.
Yeah. So
that was my bird. So we had a thing that came out there, and then with loads of fingers and all this, and then Adam and Alina very kindly generated me a birthday card, which had 4. It was like rugby players playing there, so it was like a bunch of rugby player kids holding a banner, and he said, "Say happy birthday, Adam," and it had wrote, Happy Bitty Day arm.
Yeah.
Right, so they couldn't even take that bit.
You can't.
Right. And then it was like, it'd be like, there's 4 heads and there's
17 arms.
10 legs under the banner.
I just don't know how we sometimes
some
can
of
get it
these
so
children had
wrong.
3 legs, you know, and stuff like that. And hands were like, there was one yesterday. I showed Alina. Quite a, how am I going to word this? A regionally well-known job thing is what I'm going to leave it at. And it was advertising for cooks, chefs.
You're going to have to tell me now later.
I'll show you.
Yes.
I'm not going to call them out. And it was like, do you want chefs? And I was like, that looks like a very professionally shot piece of footage.
Yeah.
But the spoon bends and looks like it's on the scoopy bits on. So the end of the spoon was bending. The scoopy bit was the wrong way round. And then I realised, I was like, that doesn't look like the sort of food you'd stir.
No.
And then I looked and it was just like
He's busy finding it.
tubular meat tubes going into this dish and that was the chef's hand.
Oh.
And I was like, they haven't. And the problem is, I look for it like with an
Everywhere,
absolute
yeah.
passion. And I just went to the team. That was the first thing I met them with yesterday. I'm going to find it.
You're going to find it. So in terms of the software that you use, then, so forget about
Yeah.
AI. Obviously, you said you were a coder,
Yeah.
and you're going to.
So,
go on.
yeah, that's the way it's changed. I mean, in the last 20 years of websites, the quality is insane with
Yes.
the improvement. And what's probably quite upsetting for those who love working in HTML or whatever to build sites in something other than WordPress is you no longer need to know how to custom code.
Yeah.
So I can understand and work with about 8 or 9 different coding languages, obviously the same 3 day in, day out, but it's extremely rare I get the opportunity to use it in my work now.
Yeah.
Because everything's built on WordPress, which doesn't require it.
Correct.
But when I do get an exciting project, it's like, oh, yes, great.
Yeah.
But you need to pay me hourly rate.
Absolutely,
Didn't know that.
100% on that.
So it's great that you don't need to know how to custom code, or you don't need a £10,000 budget to get your website on, because you don't need to pay a developer to do that. But I think it is for the better, because it's gave the smaller business better opportunity when the likes of Elementor came along, or the drag and drop systems on Wix. I think it's fantastic. So it's changed enormously. And personally, I don't know, but I'd love to know what kind of development courses they're teaching in colleges now.
Yeah.
Have they taken this into consideration? You know, and speaking of Elementor, I know they're changing what architecture that's built on gradually to keep up the likes of bricks. Or whatever. And somebody's still got to build that. So it's not that there's not a place anymore for a coder, because you still have to build this or train it or whatever.
100%.
It's probably falls more in line with software development programming now. But it's very interesting how it's changed.
What I also find, though, Mark, what's interesting is that these Elementors, these WordPress divvies, you know, the WP Bakery, it hides the coding, which is great. The problem is when the site either fails or the customer then goes, do you know what, Mark, can I just integrate it into, and there isn't the integrate button on the Divi site, so you've got to get back into your code. So I always go back to when I did my little stint at QE College Darlington, chatting to the IT guy there, he was saying, you know, my students, go write some code for me. Yeah. They would use AI. It was obvious that they'd used AI. So when he went, Mark, can you explain this section of the code?
Yeah.
Blank look.
Yeah.
And he went, you've used AI, haven't you? And he went, yeah, I did. I'm like, but you're not understanding what it does, and you'd been lazy.
Yeah.
And that's the bit that I'm trying to get across. You still need to understand what the code's doing.
Absolutely. I'm going to take Divi for an example. It's drag and drop builder, for those who don't know it. It's quite basic, but it's very CSS heavy.
Yes.
Extremely heavy. So unless you're on a decent host, well, no, actually scrap that, because the client's still got to load it in. They might be on a 4G connection. Yeah. And if it doesn't load within, 3 seconds, they've gone to the next on Google. We now find ourselves having to strip back a lot of this stuff if we do end up using Divi, Elementor, or whatever, the unnecessary fluff.
Yeah.
Just like to try and speed it up. The problem comes when they do a major update, that fluff gets put back in. So you need to get clever with how you implement that stop or the block to stop it happening. But everybody wants the option and we'll always give our clients options. But everybody wants the option to go in and make quick, easy fixes themselves.
Yes.
There's absolutely no point them paying me my hour rate to change a comma, to change a sentence, to swap an image
I
out.
know.
So we'll always offer training on how they can use their site. Most of the sites now are the likes of Elementor.
Yeah.
You know, we've just got to accept that for my client's budget anyway. So once we've done the training, they go and make the swaps. That's fantastic. And we're always at the end of the phone or email, whatever, if they need more technical help. It's good for me because I can still custom code and build something custom, but they don't understand how to use that. And I can show them how to do it. I can explain how to do it. Unfortunately, they won't understand that. It's not what they do. But I've gone way off track. What was the question?
No, but I think that's a fair point because
I was saying about hiding the actual code.
Oh, sorry, yes. So you'll never ever see the code unless you go into the editor or the open it up in the FileZilla or whatever.
Yeah.
And I think it's good that you never should, because if you don't know what you're doing and you mess around there, you could break the whole thing.
Oh, God, yes.
So I think it's very good that there's blocks in place. And even if you try taking WordPress, for example, go into the theme editor, the file editor, big warning comes up.
Oh, yes.
That should be enough to scare the everyday user enough. Don't touch.
Very much so.
yeah. Also, if you touch it and then there's an update and you update it, you've just deleted what you've done.
Correct.
Yeah.
But that's the point. I think if you look at the sort of 3 tiers at the moment, you've got your Wix, GoDaddy, Squarespace builder options. You've then got your WordPress options in the middle.
Yep.
Really, WordPress is the leader of that tier.
Yeah.
And then you've got custom coded websites.
Yes.
So I think the problem is everyone sees the Wix and the GoDaddy pricing, because they do it themselves. You're paying to do it yourself.
Oh, yeah.
So they then go, right, well, I want the WordPress version for that and the programming version, it should pull everything down. But in truth, it doesn't. And I think, when you're looking at your website and looking at scale, at some point, you may need a custom programmable coded option that does what you need it to do at that point. If you just need a shop front, Wix, Shopify.
Yeah.
If that's all you need, it works. WordPress is perfectly suitable and perfectly really good option for many businesses. But if they need some custom features that sit outside of it, then that's your programming. That's a different ballgame.
Yes.
And that comes with different pricing tiers.
Of course it does, because you're paying for the experience.
Exactly. And I think it's calibrating I knew someone who's paying £1,000 a year for SEO services. I went, okay, brilliant. What have they been doing? Nothing.
Yeah.
That's
for the license or whatever.
Yeah, so I was like, have you got blog articles? Have you got this, that, and the other? The other one I kept getting at the moment, actually, is someone going, I've signed up to this website for backlinks.
Oh.
Yes.
I've had this in the last few weeks. I've signed up to this for backlinks. Can you go and sort out the meta descriptions? I was like, what's this platform?
It's like buying backlinks is like buying Facebook likes. It serves no real purpose. I would much rather 5 actually valuable backlinks than 500 dead links.
Yeah, so just to qualify
Yeah,
what a backlink
I was
is,
about to say,
it's one website. So if I link to Andy's website, talking about the great work Resilient do, and then put a web link in, the search engines see that my website is linked to his website and it gives you some authority. But what you can do is there's companies out there that will give you so many reliable backlinks. And because I had to search the platform I was looking at, because he's like, this is helping with my SEO. And I said, this is nothing to do with the SEO in the site. This is a separate platform. I'm like, but then people come to you with those ideas going, here's what I'm doing. I'm like, no. Why are you doing
Do you even understand what a backlink? No, this company just said it.
Well, I need to link to my website. is the kind of comeback. And I'm like, yes, but like you say, it is like buying followers.
So we'll always do, and I hate the phrase free audit, but in order for us to gauge whether we're a right fit, we need to do some level of due diligence, and that is an audit. When we'll do the SEO, we'll break it down into 5 tiers and offer a report. It's usually on-page SEO, social, which we don't do, so just don't do it. Social media, technology infrastructure. That's the techie stuff that sits behind it. Backlinks, and what's the other one? Usability. All 5 of those is what I consider SEO, and so we can't do all of it.
Correct.
Because we're not that. But when it comes to the tech, the on-page stuff, that's great, and we'll always get you the best results we can. But yeah, the backlinks, for most people, it's the hardest one to get right, because that's where it's no longer in your control, kind of comes into play. You can't just make a few changes here and there and have the reel turned up or whatever, however you're scoring it. The on-page stuff's fine. And yes, the on-page stuff's going to get you the most results in SEO. But if you don't have social media and you don't have it linked to your website, you're losing authority.
Yeah.
So you need to get them connected.
Yeah, and then looking at opportunities to do guest blogs. Don't then generate it in ChatGPT.
No,
Yes.
exactly.
Blogs, I don't know if you guys remember this, blogs were huge.
Oh,
Massive.
Huge. And then they went,
yeah.
Now they're back.
and now they're back.
Now they are back.
And wow, some good results coming through for them. If you don't want to pay for SEO, that's fine. Do blogs.
Yeah.
And make sure the good articles,
Not
meaningful
generated.
articles, not generated.
My-
And don't dilute.
No.
Stick to one common focus point
Yeah.
or whatever, one
I remember in the
category.
early days of when blogging was big, and I was saying to my customer at the time, and I didn't know yourselves, Mark or Adam, and it was like, write blogs to gain your... He wrote one blog, which was fantastic. He got a lot of interaction with it, and then, obviously, I got busy, came back to it, and I'm like, 6 months since you've last written your blog. I haven't got time.
Yeah.
Like, well...
Yeah.
Anybody that lands on the website nowadays will look and go, last blog, 2018. Obviously, this company doesn't work.
Yes.
So again, keeping the website up to date, how
Yeah.
important is that?
Yeah. It's the same with TikTok. I know TikTok, I don't understand TikTok's algorithm, I just consume a lot of it. But if I was to upload 5 videos a day for the next week, that's great. It's going to show progress, but then have 3 months off and then come back do the same. There's no regularity.
Nope.
If I was to do 5 videos over a month consistently,
That's your word.
That's what we do.
yeah,
Consistency.
exactly. Yeah,
Our job is to be consistent.
Yeah.
That's what our job is.
It's a similar thing when it comes to sites. You don't want aged content sat on there for ages because, people are then going to do their own thing and outrank you. I think the common message across all tech is consistency, probably.
Yeah, it is. Absolutely, Mark.
So
Absolutely.
just keep it up.
Looking at the time, I haven't got long left, so put you on the spot. Where do you see Emphasise and technology in, let's say, 5 years, 10 years?
Ooh, I haven't even thought about that myself. And I have my gold on my wall.
Goal, live. Second, get drunk with lots of ale that people are giving
Bacon
me.
sandwich.
Bacon sandwich.
So I always thought to measure success, you need the money, the car, the office, the staff, and bits like that. I always wanted a big office with 100 staff. That to me would be, I've done it. I've done what I wanted to do.
Yeah.
But actually, for me, it's about growing reputation for the business.
Very nice.
So I would like to take the business to be the trusted partner for my target market.
Absolutely. Love it.
However, this business is still only going 2-3 years. I don't think we found what our target market actually is properly because
Mark,
we're still
I'm 20 years old this year.
Exactly.
I still haven't.
Yeah,
I've been going 9 years in May,
yeah.
and we go through. It's like tides of different
Yeah,
collusion
evolutions.
goings
Yeah.
and it's not just we've done a lot in property. We're now doing a lot in education. It sort of
It
ebbs
flows.
and flows through.
Yeah.
And actually the education stuff has been picking up and doing more and more in education. And it's not because of referrals, actually.
No.
It's
Yeah.
just that's
Yeah.
what we've been
So,
doing.
sorry.
No, so I think we found a good foot in the medical market. Actually, we're servicing a lot of GPs, practitioners,
Nice.
and things like that, and that's interesting. But it's not. Oh, this sounds horrible. If there's clients listening, it's not what I mean. It's just not fun. I like taking new businesses from vision to end result. So
What's an interesting point is that I have some customers, God bless them, they work that I love them to bits, but they're not fun
Yeah.
because they're not and they don't need it. So it's nothing against them. They
Yeah.
don't need to get. I like customers that are working and go, I've got this problem, Andy. And as soon as they say that, I'm
Yeah.
like, let's. And that must
Yeah.
be the same for you.
yes,
Yeah.
yeah, it's exactly that. I've got this problem. Got this site, but it's not getting found.
Yeah.
Or got this site, but it looks
Tired.
terrible.
Tired.
Yeah, there we are. So being able to make them be proud of their website again
Yeah.
is very important, and that's kind of our little tagline at the moment, mainly in our emails. Be proud of your site.
No,
if you're not proud of
great
it, it's
one.
probably
I
not
like
a good
that.
one
It's a
for you.
great one, Mark. Well done. No.
Yeah, probably,
that's really good.
probably
And
found
then-
that in AI as well.
And then 10 years' time, retire completely.
Yes.
Gaming all day.
Yeah.
That's fine.
What games? Quickly.
Yeah, what games?
What are you into?
I've got the Halo bug again. I've gone through every Halo and now found all the online lobbies. I love it. I grew up on Halo. It's fantastic.
It's a fantastic game.
It's very fun. But then when it's on PC, I've found Caesar 3 again.
Oh my goodness me!
An old that game from the early
Absolutely,
late
that
90s.
is really good. I remember playing that one.
But other than that,
I got Age of Empires too a few months ago.
yeah.
And I've been
Yeah.
So I looked on my Steam account. I've got over 1,500 hours in AOE 2.
Get in.
Luckily, it's been out for years.
Yeah, which is why you can say that.
Not
Yeah.
in 3 months.
Yes,
yeah.
But I'm still knocking Dying Light 2 out. But I've also through Game Pass I've just started to play Avowed.
Yes.
Yeah, so
I've
it's
seen
actually
that.
quite good. You know, as I say, quite good. I know my son. He's like, I'd just rather play a different game, as in a better Obsidian one. I won't mention the name, but that's fine. But I quite like Avowed. You have to put a lot of time into it. And then last night I was working very hard. We'll mention that when we say about what about the weekend. And you know what? Cloud gaming, where you don't have to install, loaded it up, and then it said, based upon your previous ones, click here for the Crash Bandicoot trilogy. I had the best 2 hours ever. Saying, how frustrating is this game? Literally 1 pixel and you're off the ledge.
As you're falling down.
Yeah. Oh, but it was so good.
But Mario can hang on to a cliff on his toes.
Absolutely. So anyway, Mark, what an absolute wonderful session that was. I think it was great to have
really good.
3 people that obviously are working in the same sector, bouncing off each other. I think it's really, really good. To finish off, how can people find out about Emphasising You?
Well, hopefully, if you search web designer.
See what I did there?
Yeah, I fell for that one. We are active on socials, and obviously our site. We've got a few guides that might be helpful to you or your business. Have a look on there. The best one for us: pick up the phone. Let's have a chat.
Yep.
No pressure. You'll never get a salesy talk from any of our team.
Buy Teams. Buy Teams.
Stop it. Buy Teams.
He's just trying to sell Teams.
Yeah, Microsoft
Just
Teams.
in case.
I'm a Zoom and Dropbox guy.
Okay, out. No.
Should have a chat with Andy.
Yeah, no, Zoom and Dropbox, they have their place 100%. Love it, love it, love it, love it. So, yeah, right. So, Emphasise, lovely. Thank you so much, Mark. Very, very good
thank
indeed.
you.
What are you doing for the weekend, young Adam?
What am I doing for the weekend?
By the way, did you win last week?
It didn't happen.
All right.
No, it didn't happen.
Another
due to-
reprieve.
A week off, so body is grateful for a week off of rugby. This is playing rugby. But we're due to play this weekend, subject to it going ahead. We'll know later today.
Okay.
And then kids rugby coaching. Other than that, I'm doing nothing.
Nothing.
I've been playing Dota 2 again.
Ah, yeah,
Back
well,
on
there
that
you
over
go.
the weekend.
Wow.
Mark, what about yourself?
I don't know.
Ask the wife.
Couldn't tell you.
Couldn't
Done
tell you.
axe throwing recently.
yeah.
That was fun. I'd love to go there again. Also, I might go shooting. Haven't been shooting in quite some time.
People
Air
watch
rifle.
out.
Air rifle. On the targets.
Not on the motorway.
Not on the motor. No. Oh, good stuff. Good stuff.
What about you, sir?
Well, breaking news. As you know, I do Mike Reed's Heritage Chart Radio. We've gone through a bit of a rebrand, gone through a bit of a relaunch with some new DJs. And I had the extreme pleasure of speaking to a legendary Radio 1 DJ that we've pulled out of retirement and is doing a Sunday morning show for us this coming Sunday. So I actually spoke to Dave Lee Travis this week.
Really?
Yes.
Wow. Awesome. So he's on from Sunday.
Sunday on heritagechartradio.co.uk. I also published the Android app this week.
Yeah.
So I've been very, very, very busy. But yeah, really good. And it was a pleasure to speak to Dave. Really, really, really nice. So
awesome.
that's an interesting weekend. So I'm busy pulling schedules and Mrs. Reed, bless her, is going for a girly weekend in Leeds. So dropping her off on Saturday morning, doing a tiny bit of work, and then unfortunately Dan and his friend Carl will be coming down to my place to eat pizzas, drink beer and play darts. And I'm very upset about it.
Clearly.
And then Sunday, all day
Because
gaming.
you'll just sit in the corner and grump.
Oh, yes.
No, you're going to involve yourself.
Yeah, and then gaming all day Sunday.
Brilliant.
Yeah, well, there you go. Mark, thank you again.
Yeah,
very
thank
much
you,
appreciated.
sir.
It's,
Much appreciated.
Very, very, very good.
Thanks for having me.
No, not a problem at all.
Absolutely. Other than that, we will see you in the next episode.
Bye.
Bye.